Good afternoon, everyone. I decided to go live this time to cut out the middleman so I don't have to upload and wait for things to process. So today in 2D design, what we're going to do is some line studies, and I'm going to show you how to do this. There are going to be 3 assignments this week related to line and shape. The first is line variety. The second is take a line for a walk. And the third one is for shape, and that is going to be the band project, which I'll post an explanation and a description of after this video. So I look forward to seeing what y'all make for this. So I'm going to show you what we're going to work on. First of all, for line, there are a lot of different definitions of line. The first one is line type. Line type just describes the type of line. So say in this one, we can see that Anders Zorn used some hatching and cross-hatching. And hatching is cross-hatching is when you have any parallel lines that then run perpendicular to one another. Line type could also describe like calligraphic line, like in this case here, calligraphic line, or this kind of loose frenetic line here. The artist Damier used very frenetic looping line, but that would be line type, where we say the kind of different style of line. Another definition of line weight, or of line, is line weight. And here's a good example of line weight here, where you can see that there's some thin lines in the background and some thick lines in the foreground, which creates a sense of depth. Also, because the lines are undulating, they appear to move. Creates a really nice movement. It creates a sense of depth. So we have line type, and then we have line weight. That is whether the line is thick or thin. And then there's also line character. So that would be just the character of line would describe just basically like what's the character of something, what's the style of something, what would you describe a line as being like? Smooth or jagged, rough, tight, geometric, really straight line done with a ruler, or organic, done, very much like cursive. Think about for a minute the Coca-Cola logo and why it is so iconic and timeless, because it's written like script, or how Disney is written like a signature. Actually, like it's based on Walt Disney's signature. That has style to it, right? That has a characteristic to it. So I really want to encourage you to explore line. So this first project that we're going to do, and I'll turn my camera around here. I'm in my office today. What we're going to do is take an object and we're going to trace it 4 times. And then we're going to fill each one of those in differently, exploring line. Set my camera up here so y'all can see. So you could use your silhouette for this. So those silhouettes that I sent you, or you could use a page out of a National Geographic. Basically, you're going to take one and you're going to choose one, like this little crocodile here. And I'm going to show you 2 different ways that you could transfer this, and then you're going to fill in that space. First of all, you could cut it out like this, and then you could set it on your composition. So not only are we going to explore line, but I also want you to think about composition on this as well. So we know we're going to use 4 of the same object, plus you want it to be about this size, or maybe even smaller. Like this is a pretty good size right here. So you can trace it 4 times on here. But this is one way, is I just cut that out and I'm using it kind of like a stencil and just tracing around it. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it should look like your object. Doing this somewhat quickly. Boom. So I took this as a silhouette, cut it out with an X-Acto knife, and then boom, traced it. Another option would be to use the negative space that you cut out, and then the same thing, you could trace that. And I don't have to even use the entire thing. Boom. Just trace within that outline. That's another way of doing it. Boom. Notice when I get to that border, I don't have to draw the line. I just end it there. It gets cropped. It falls off the edge. This is a pretty cool trick too. This is another way of transferring things. So what I'm going to do on this one, just to show you another example, is to take this here and put graphite on the back. And if you have a range of pencils, you might use like a 4B or a 6B on this. So here I have a 6B. And then I'm going to rub graphite everywhere on the back of this sheet of paper, like so, especially where my image is. And you can always hold it up to the light to make sure that you traced in the correct spots. And if you hold it up, you can kind of see where my crocodile is. Notice if I miss any spots. Then, so you got crocodile on this side, graphite on this side. You basically make your own carbon paper. Then I'm going to take a sharp, harder pencil. So in this case, you might use a 4H or a 6H if you've got it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down there, and I'm just going to trace around my dude here. And hopefully that transfers. And I can always peek at it, make sure. Boom, look at that, magic. That's pretty rad. So once I've done that, I've only got 3 right now, but I want you to think about composition also. I want you to think about composition. I also want you to think about line for this project. So, you know, the other thing you could do is you could just straight up draw this guy too. You don't have to necessarily even trace it. And if you did that, what would that look like for your drawing? And boom. Kind of like this negative space thing here where this overlaps. Not the best drawing in the world, but it will suffice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill each one of these in with a different type of line. That is your trick. Paul Klee had a great definition of line. He said that line is a dot that went for a walk. Boom. I love that. It's a great explanation for line. If you think about it, it is not too dissimilar from the actual definition of a line. The book suggests that line is a point in motion, which makes sense, right? So like where you put the pencil, and as you move it, it's always a continuous point moving. And Paul Klee, the artist Paul Klee, described line as a dot that went for a walk, which I love. He describes drawing as a line that went for a walk. So that's going to be the next assignment that we do as well as part of line. So each one of these you're just going to fill in, and maybe this one I'm going to do cross hatching. And so I would do a set of parallel strokes, and then I would go in the opposite direction to do cross hatching. Cross hatching is parallel network of lines to create a sense of value. You could also have cross contour. Cross contour are lines that cross over a form to make it look dimensional. So we could do something like this. Cross contour. You get to pick how you make your designs. If you like this and this looks good, the craftsmanship is good, you can fill this in completely with cross-hatching. Boom, I'm just not going to give up. I'm just, for the sake of time, showing you. If you like it with pencil, boom, leave it. If you want to fill it in with your fine line Sharpie, or if you prefer to draw in the fine line Sharpie, you could do that. You could even do a variety. If you did your fine line Sharpie and that thick Sharpie that I gave you and the medium one like this, then you could already be varying your line weight. Remember, line weight would be like when you have thin, medium, thick, line weight, line variety, line type, line style. I went ahead and did one already. Just wanted to show you. This just took a few minutes. Beautiful. I love it. My 4 Crocs. On the top one, I got kind of have like a loopy line going on. Then I got straight lines. And then at the bottom, I use thick line. I use thin line. You can do this however you want. The next assignment is take a line for a walk. And what you're going to do is, in this case, I will probably use a Sharpie, but you could also use a pencil if you wanted to. You could use a marker. You could use glitter if you wanted to, if you had a glitter pen or if you have a paint marker. You can use whatever you want on this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my headphones on and I'm going to listen to a song. And we're going to do this 3 different times. And I'm going to listen to the song, and with my beats on, boom, I'm going to draw along to the music. So I'll start my song, and I'm going to start up here and say my song is 3 minutes long. I want to start up here, and by the time I get down here, I want to be filling in this composition. This is take a line for a walk, and the prompt is music. So say I turn on Taylor Swift, Anti-Hero, and I'm listening to the music, and I'm just kind of drawing to the beat. And I'm trying to fill this space as I go, as I listen to the music, staying within the composition. So this is kind of the next line. This is maybe responding to the music or the lyrics or the notes or the beat, maybe the harmony, maybe the piano, maybe there's a part where it gets really loud. Boom, we're going like this. Then it gets softer, it gets mellow, then boom, it starts to build again. And the idea is we're not really worried about what this looks like. It's more of we're trying to fill this space with line as we listen to the music. There's no wrong way of doing this. And by the time I get to 3 minutes, boom, I want to be all the way down here, like so. Paul Clay, take a line for a walk. And you're going to do 3 of these. I put up 2 fingers for peace at first. 3, you're gonna do 3. So maybe one's Taylor Swift, Anti-Hero. Maybe one's something completely different, like a classical song. Maybe one's a hip hop song. Maybe you like, classic rock, so you listen to like a Led Zeppelin song. Each of those, I imagine, would have different character, different style, different mood, right? And so your line drawing should be differently. You're gonna do 3 of these, 3 different songs. Take a line for a walk. I love it. It's beautiful. Don't be self-conscious. Don't worry about how it looks. Just kind of feel the music and move to the music as you're listening. Headphones work good, but if you need to play it, Bluetooth over speakers, whatever, as you kind of like make your hand dance, so the line dances to the music too. As mentioned, there's going to be a band logo that you're going to design, and everybody will be assigned a genre and will get to pick from a list of band names, and then you will design a logo. So I'll post another video about that. I'll post the assignment sheet for all 3 of these assignments, the lines, line variety, and take a line for a walk, and the band logo project. That one is for shape. Peace. Have a good one. I can't wait to see what y'all make. Enjoy, have a good time, and